Hello, my name is METİN Arıdaşır. This is 60th part of explanation of my theories. I say, nothing but electron can propagate the light. The Broglie's matter wave theory and formula are wrong, are invalid. According to my theory and my formulas, 1. Nothing but electron motion form can propagate the light. Any objects that we see in our subjective reality that we share with all living species can produce and propagate light. Any of these objects can produce and propagate light. They can not produce and propagate light. 2. In universes, remember, metasensation perception matter, universal reality, and subjective reality that we share with all living species, subjective reality. These are two universes that I know. In universes, electron motion forms are unique sources of light. 3. The light is the bridge between metasensation perception matter, MSPM, and subjective reality. Electron motion forms are intrinsic and immanent cyclical motion forms of metasensation perception matter that make our universes gain regularity. 4. Electron motion forms are not objects. Electron motion forms are not objects. Their effects may seem like objects, but we cannot see them directly because they are intrinsic and immanent motion forms of metasensation perception matter that we can never see directly. 5. If electron motion form is free, whether it is at rest or in motion, it produces and propagates successive sphere waves through eternity. This type of light is the source of all continuous spectrum from X-rays to some black body radiation. If electron motion form is bounded with another electron-like form or another electron or electron-like forms constitute proton-like structures. If electron motion form is bounded, it produces and pushes a single wave pulse through the eternity by the effect of free electron motion form's successive waves. This type of light is the source of all emission or absorption lines and characteristic X-rays lines. Yes. Six. Without electron motion forms, any object can produce light waves. De Broglie's matter wave concept and theory and formula are wrong. So, this wrong theory will be one of the reasons for quantum wave function for all objects and quantum physics collapsing. Again, de Broglie's matter wave concept and theory and formula are wrong. So, this wrong theory will be one of the reasons for quantum wave function for all objects and quantum physics collapsing. 7. In accepted physics, they tell us that Broglie's matter waves wavelength for any object around us is too small, much smaller than gamma rays, to be detectable, too small to affect us, too small to affect us. In accepted physics, they tell us de Broglie's matter waves wavelength for any object around us is too small to be detectable and too small to affect us. In accepted physics, they say an object that has approximately 100 gram and say its velocity approximately 50 meter per second. According to the de Broglie formula, its wavelength at the level of 1.3 10 to the minus 22 nanometer. This is 250 grams. I throw it and approximately 50 meter per second, and each matter wave's wavelength will be smaller and smaller than gamma rays, than any rays. 10 to the minus, say 1.3, 10 to the minus 22 nanometer. They say it doesn't affect us. They say this wavelength cannot detectable, so this is not important for us. This is not detectable. We cannot account about this. Interesting. Deep inconsistency. I will tell you. Yes. Whereas we know that as the wavelength shortens, its effects increases, its energy increases. How incoherence? Why don't you see this incoherence? Don't close your eyes. Think of. Yes. Think of about everything. Think of about that. Think of about another problems. Think of. Ask. Yes. Whereas we know that as the wavelength shortens, its effects. Whereas we know that as the wavelength shortens, its effects increases. We know light rays are harmful and destroyer at the rate of reducing their wavelengths. I ask now that the magnetic shield of the Earth, saves us from harmful ultraviolet rays from the sun. Say, while we are shaking our hands or playing football What will save us from such a small de Broglie's wavelength? Say, while we are shaking our hands, waving, or playing football, what will save us from such a small wavelength waves? 8. Besides, I have realized and I have shown you in my former video that there is a deep contradiction between two formulas that have been used in accepted physics. The Hunt formula and de Broglie formula. Between two of formula, there is deep contradiction, there is deep inconsistency, and there is deep incoherence. Yes. Besides, I have realized and I have shown you in my former video that there is a deep contradiction between two formulas that have been used in accepted physics. One of them, the Duane-Hunt formula, and the other is the de Broglie formula, matter wave formula. 9. Moreover, we make the electron gain velocity by applying to, say, 40,000 volt, and then it's lambda minus delta lambda.